Okay. Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Awesome.
Well,
Awesome.
To, Today, we have a beautiful group of experts who have been working a lot in the summer camps. And we have this crazy idea on coming with some key points that we want to share with our teachers who will be working online. We understand that sometimes classes and summer camps can be totally different, but I think the people that you see in this screen can actually give you some beautiful tips on how a online activity or online class can run. So I have the first of all, before we even start, can any one of you tell me a little bit what did you guys did in the summer? Just in a little short example, what did you do? How did you behave? And what did you like about the experience? I don't know, anyone who would like to be the volunteer first?
Okay, my name is Sister Ignacia Carrillo, and I had the pleasure of working at my first virtual summer camp. In my team, I was in charge of the good news. So I had a wonderful time preparing my presentations for the children for the good news, and learned a lot of things that I can apply to school when I go back.
Nice, perfect. Sister, how many campers did you have on, virtually?
On average, we had between 34 to 47, 49.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you. Anyone else who would like to add anything else that Sister Ignacia said about the camp? Because I know the sisters were working together. Is that right?
yes. So we did a 4-week camp run from 3 different time zones. So we had a California, Colorado, and Texas time zone every day. We'd meet with the campers for 2 hours in the morning, and then in the evening for 2 hours together as the 3 regions together. So the morning was separate, the afternoon was together, and we'd have about 80 to 90 campers at one time. And we would even have campfire nights, dance parties, scavenger hunt type escape rooms, talent shows. So your usual summer camp activities.
That sounds so exciting, but it's blowing mind myself because in a sense, how you do all those type of things kind of freak me out. Or it's like, but it's really, really cool. Anyone else who would like to add anything about the Solutions Camp? No? Who wants to share about the Savio Camp? What did we do? And don't fight. I mean, you can do one by one.
So
Okay.
so my name is Victoria. I took part in the Camp Savio online platform. This summer, even though we were small in numbers, we only had 5 counselors that all took their time to join us every day, 2 hours in the morning, starting at 9 a.m. But we filled those 2 hours with different icebreakers, different arts and crafts, simple arts and crafts that we know that everybody has the materials for. And we were able to add in gospel, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And from what we could tell with the kids and the feedback we'd received, they had a lot of fun as well.
How many kids did you have online?
On an average, we had a total of 15 participants on the Zoom meetings.
Perfect, perfect. So we have 2 groups. We have a group that is big, like even 80, you said at one point, and we have the other group that is small. What do you think made the difference in your summer online camp?
I really think what brought the excitement or the energy that we were able to create, or the family we were able to create from the minute we logged on and we first met the kids. We immediately tried to break the ice. And I think the fact that we were able to make those bonds and friendships, even though we are online and virtually, that was what helped us throughout the month, and we grew closer. And yeah.
Perfect. How about in the Salesian Sister camp? What is those moments that you were like, wow?
Well, I know what helped me was that we had a good planning team beforehand where we knew what we wanted, and we created a very practical structure, for the camp. What was our goal? What we're going to teach, and then we broke out into different groups for each person to prepare each piece of that structure. But we knew what to do. We had a structure to start with. Good planning, I think, and everybody delegated, and it worked very well.
So what I'm hearing is, even in Camp Savio or in Camp Salesian, you actually have a really clear structure of planning. Where do you want to go and where you want to do? Is that right? Mm-hmm. Perfect. I have another question. Avi, the other day we were talking about the school, and what is the difference between the school that you probably go to the university right now and the camp experience? I mean, what did it make the difference to you?
I think it's just like the environment, how like instead of like in Camp Salvador, you don't have to be so formal, you don't have to be professional, you can let loose and be yourself and not having to put a character, because like a lot of the kids, they don't put a character, they don't put a front, and they're just themselves. And it's like I'm talking like one of the little girls, it's like I'm arguing with the little sister of mine. But when it comes to like an adult walking in, she puts a front, and I feel like having to make them feel like they don't have to be so professional brings a lot of their character and who they are, their personalities.
Good. Anyone else who would like to elaborate a little bit more on what Abby says? What do you guys think? I mean, we have 3-4 adults. What do you guys think when you hear that? Can that be applied to the school? Is that something that...
Yes and no, because first you have apples and oranges, okay? You have the element of camp. Camp is not school. It's fun, you learn, but it's spontaneous, happy, and all of that. But when we were preparing for school, there is an element of structure that you need to put in, because, for example, if I'm teaching something and I don't establish classroom structure and expectations, a kid will walk in without a t-shirt, you know, and you have second graders, and there goes your lesson. And you can't be scolding them or correcting them because you're entering into their sacred space. But if we give them steps of what's expected before, like it's a classroom, you know, you're going to come in ready to work, have all your materials, you should have had breakfast, and you're fully dressed and ready to learn. You know, you set that tone before so that you can, you know, maximize your time and reduce distractions, especially the younger they are. You know, you don't want to be correcting them or telling them what to do, but as the teacher, you have to think of, like in a class, you have your classroom rules, but now you have your virtual classroom expectations.
And I think you guys have a really clear expectations during the camp as well. Is that right?
Yes.
So what do you guys think with regards, for example, I know Amber or Jackie or even Joaquin or even Victoria, you are in the high school age right now. So if you will have to tell any recommendation to your teachers, what will you tell them? Or if you will have to be a teacher, how would you manage your class?
I think from what I've noticed from this last semester where we were in school is during the Zoom meetings, everybody had their camera off. There was no conversation going on. I'm in a public school, so I know it works a little bit different, but just no one had their camera on. There was no communication. When she would ask questions and we'd go into discussions, it was complete silence. And I think when it comes to working online, like how you said, establish expectations, camera on, ready to go. I think that would really help. Like it makes it better, and you could have conversations like this.
Nice. How about you, Joaquin?
I think honestly the difference between school and Camp Savio was just from school. I didn't have Zoom meetings. I had one that wasn't anything. We just talked the whole time, and everybody had their cameras off, like Victoria said. And I think just when we first met the kids, we said like, hey, like, can you guys turn your cameras on? We want to see your beautiful faces. Kind of just like gain that, not that friendship with them, because you don't learn from somebody you don't like. And honestly, like when I first met the kids, like they were so open, but I know not every kid is like that, and that they just want to be themselves and they want to be free. And I think just establishing that at the beginning will allow them to do establishing like rules and what's expected will allow them to have that freedom, but with boundaries. And I think that was one of the main ideas that we had.
That is interesting. Freedom with boundaries. I love that
Yeah.
concept. I mean, we're talking a lot about a Salesianity spirit about in this. Jackie or Alejandra, what do you guys think? What is this bringing you? What can you tell to a teacher who will have to do online classes? Because all the teachers here, at least in Los Angeles, will go online classes mandated. So what would you recommend those teachers to do?
Me, Jackie?
Yes.
Okay. So I think some of the things that really worked for us, or that I saw work, was really like a personalism where where the person who was in charge was calling people by name. And I know you don't want to intimidate like people by like making them participate, some of the kids who might be shyer, but when you're just talking to a screen, I think that like calling forth the people by name, addressing or even addressing like groups of people to make sure that they stay engaged was really important. Like kind of keeping up that personal interaction, even though it's just over a screen. And I think the other thing that really worked for us is that we just had a variety of activities. So we were trying not to do a long lecture where, you know, we're just like speaking at the kids for more than 10 minutes. That was supposed to be our limit there. And besides that, before and after, we would do something that engaged their bodies, get them to stand up, get them to go to another room to get a particular object. Maybe a dance or a song, so that they weren't just staring at the screen for, you know, hours. And instead of us just communicating information at them, also inviting them to participate themselves. So how are they contributing? Are they creating something and sharing it? Are they also singing and dancing? We had a talent show on the last day, and it was a space where they could be totally creative and themselves, and to bring that to everyone who is watching. And I think it was that like really dynamic variety of activities that would keep them interested. Otherwise, we would just get all the cameras turned off after if we were just showing them videos and teaching them things the whole time. So I think for the teachers, that's what I would really encourage. I would encourage like really dynamic, creative learning that involved the kids participating, using their bodies, being creative, having to use their their creativity and imagination, and bringing that so they're contributing to their own learning too.
I
That's
just
very
want
cool.
to add one more thing on that to get them more involved is using breakout rooms if you are doing class virtually. And so even though it might be a little scary, you know, sending the kids by themselves to a breakout room, because if you're the only teacher for the class and you don't know what they're really doing, but if you give them an activity that they're going to be interested in completing, they will do it. But it can't just be talk about how do you feel about Black Lives Matter? Well, they might have a conversation, but they're going to probably talk about whatever they want to talk about. So you have to give them something that's going to be interesting, that they're going to want to do, and a time. And then they all come back to the main session, and you have a way of verifying that they've done it. But we found in the breakout rooms that we had a lot better participation, that the kids who are shy in the large group, they were talking in the small groups. And so I think that's really important to use if people are using Zoom.
Nice. So basically what I'm hearing is that we need to make it as a participative as possible, you know? And I think every single class, whatever you teach, math or whatever, I mean, you can make it participative. It just needs to be creative. That means a lot of more work having and planning. Anything else that you want to add, Jackie, the little Jackie?
Not much, but we tried our best. We just wanted them to be really engaged, mostly because some of them were a little distracted throughout. They didn't want to do stuff, but we just tried our best to like get their attention, capture get their minds going. So we do like dance time to get them moving, because we don't want them just staring at the screen like the whole time, because then that just like sometimes they lose interest and they're just like they're not really into it. So like for me, I was in a public school, but some of my teachers, like my math teacher, he wouldn't even like offer like just open, like let me see your face, you smile, like he would just go through the lesson. So we would like watch the lesson. It was really boring. But compared to my English teacher, since we had a bond with her and since we and she was very sweet to us. So everybody, like, it's 45 kids in my class for my English class, and everybody was engaged. Everybody was into it. So I guess it just depends on how you go through the class and how you like control it. But in a way, like how Joaquin said, it needs to be like freedom and like have like a border. So in a class, it should have both at one point.
Nice, nice, beautiful. Alejandra, anything that you would like to add to what we have been saying?
Yes, during the beginning of the summer camp, we also put some expectations, like some etiquette, and the sisters, they created like this PowerPoint of how even to put the camera, like we want to see your camera, and she put like pictures like, not do it like this, don't do it like this, we don't want to see your like your forehead, like do it like this. So, and she shared like visuals and said like, are you gonna do it like this? And I put it like us. So we also were always reminded like, turn on your cameras or show us your work, or by calling by name, like Jackie was saying, like, hey, so and so, how are you doing? Even though they're in the other side, like, hey, okay, show it. And even like, oh, they're not there, they're probably doing something, and they'll come back running, showing you like, oh, I was looking for this. So it's definitely like that engaging like part of like, bring these, or you don't have that, don't worry, go get scissors and paper, or show me what you have and we'll create something else, like if they're doing like arts and crafts, or something like from home that they don't have the materials. But definitely that engaging and asking, and even though it's not like they're not we're not present, it's like, how do I make you present, like, hey, like the name, and then tell me what you're doing, or how can I help you, like, or even in the chat, like, hey, if they are not very participant, like, how are you doing, do you need help, like being that present, that there.
Nice. This is really beautiful. Sister, please.
Something that came to mind when we were preparing for school, when we did that transition, there wasn't a lot of time. We were learning as we went. And those first few days, you really don't just start off teaching. The most of those first few days were establishing the ins and outs of what you expect, teaching the kids the reaction buttons. If you have a question, this is what you do. If you don't understand, this is what you do, or whatever. So you established all of that so the children were comfortable and they knew what to do, just like in a classroom. When you have procedures in place, then you can get to the learning. And it created a sense of security, I think, too, because everybody knew what to do. As a teacher, I'm like technology challenged, and I thought, I'm gonna die, I can't do this. And as a teacher, I had to learn to be comfortable with it, because if you're not comfortable, you transmit that to the kids and you can't be yourself. You're not spontaneous. And so I was honest with them. I said, okay, you guys, I need help. I pressed the wrong button and I lose you. Just stay there. I'll find you. And they laugh. And then sometimes I'd let them help me. I said, oh no, my volume's off, I can't hear. And the kids would write notes and show me on the screen, and we did it together, and sometimes they were frustrated and we walked them through it. So don't worry, if you can't find the Google document, I'll call you after, or whatever you need to do to establish that comfortableness, okay, is very important before you get to the teach part. We spent at least 3 days in just establishing those routines, and then we did little games and things and say, yay, we did a good job. Always ended on a happy note, and I always told them every day that I love them. To hear the compliment, or to say, oh my gosh, Abby, I love your shirt. Let me see your shirt. You should have a glitter or whatever. And you say, oh, that's so pretty. That personal touch. Or sometimes without knowing, they'll bring their cat and put him on the screen. And you just say, oh, look, hello, kitty. Welcome to second grade. You take opportunity to connect with all of those things. And then you could teach.
Nice. This is really nice. Actually, I have many teenagers here. What do you guys think? Can the techniques that Sister just mentioned, can it be used in high school?
Yeah. Yes. Some of them, yeah.
No, but you know what is
High school's
interesting?
a very, very
It's really hard to be
touchy topic.
motivated. It's really hard to motivate a big group like that.
And there's like half that just don't care, and there's half that do care.
But but I think what Jackie was saying before, that a lot has to be with the connection that you create. And I think Sister Ignacia, the points that she's giving is actually how to create that connection. You know, it may seem that it's only for the little ones, but in reality, I can see you engage with all of you in the same level. That makes sense or not?
I think one of the things that I did, like we had a child in our class that was maybe he was older, I don't know, Ismael, I remember his name. He never really talked, never participated. His head was always down. And sometimes we would, call on him and he wouldn't answer. So then we started being silly and said, oh, I'm so sad. Why are you sad? Because Ismael won't talk to me or something like that. You're just joking. And they said, Ismael, just give me a thumbs up if everything's good, or give me a thumbs like this if it's so, or like, man, this is not for me. Do this. And then that's how he communicated. So I said, Ismael, what's up? He'd go. He'd just show me his thumb up like that. That was his only communication, but that means that was good. And he showed up every single day. Didn't answer, didn't participate, but that connection showed me he wanted to be there. And he was listening to everything. But that's how he communicated, with just thumbs up.
Yeah. Victoria, I know you wanted to say something.
Oh, all I was gonna say is that I think what helps too, also the fact that some of the kids were very comfortable with the virtual platform, was because this last school year they were still with them for half a semester. You guys got to know your students. Like, the teachers were able to talk to them and be physically there. And then when that change happened, it was a little bit easier to weigh them in, because, well, you guys know who you're teaching. And you guys knew them. But like my aunt, she's a teacher, and her biggest concern was, at least this last semester, she knows, she met them in person. But this next school year, she's not gonna know any of her students. If the first day of class, they could choose not to show their face. And I mean, that was her biggest concern. Like, how is she gonna create this relationship, this bond with a whole new set of students?
Yeah, but it's really interesting, because listening to what Sister Ignacia is saying, I think we can happen. You can do it.
Yeah. JC, I just want to.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sister Cindy.
I just wanted to add, just regarding the types of assignments that you can do, because I think teachers, like Sister Ignacia was saying, well, I don't know much about technology. And so, ask the young people what they know how to do. But use Google Slides, and they can all be working on the same presentation at the same time to make something to present together. Have them make a Powtoon whatever video, have them make a fake book. But they can do that together in a small group, and then come back, share your screen, and present it. But something that the high school kids are going to enjoy a lot more than just sitting there, like you're saying, just listening to this teacher. How boring is that? And sometimes you think, well, I can't, I could see how I could do that for my history class, but how do I do that for my English class? Well, you can take anything and apply it to any subject. You just have to think outside the box, but do an activity that the young people are going to enjoy doing. Like, they know technology. Sometimes the teachers that don't, but they do. So give them whatever assignment, let them figure it out. You don't even have to tell them how to do it. They will figure out how to use that technology piece.
And that will be super cool, because it becomes interactive. Because now you are part of the transformation. You're part of the learning. It's not that you are the receiver only, but you are part of the thing. I think that's a beautiful idea, sister.
At the beginning of the year, every teacher has getting to know you activities already established. So the challenge is going to be, how do I transform those activities onto a virtual platform? And you accomplish the same thing. You have little questions that says, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite color? What do you like? Just transform it into this platform and get the information. And as a teacher, you have it. And then you can share it or do it with each other. And that way, they get to know their class, So
JC, I think it might be helpful if you did a survey with these high school students and others, and ask them, what are some fun activities that you would like to see in a classroom setting?
Yeah,
if you're taking a fun, a TikTok video, well, why can't we make a TikTok video for our history class? Put together a list to then offer to the teachers at our schools, so then they have ideas.
You just blow my mind, like TikTok with history classes. I mean, like, who would even imagine? But actually, that sounds really cool, and I think it's engaging. And you're right. I mean, I think part of the problem of being so far away from people is that you don't engage. But if you get them in the thinking process, in them being engaged in the doing, you transform that person. Anyone else who would like to? I know Jackie wants to say something. Is that right? Jackie, the sister.
Alejandro was trying to also.
What I wanted to say is that something very amazing about the summer camp was that we didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody, any of the kids. And the kids, they didn't know each other. And they were all over Texas, all over at night. They were California, Colorado, Texas, even from Canada. We had like there was like kids from everywhere, and they were like talking to each other, cheering each other in talent shows. They were working together. We did also icebreakers in where they had to introduce or say two truths and a lie, but we learned things from them. So I think it was like that part of like, we don't like that, it's kind of like that fear of like, how are we gonna get to know them? I think in the summer camp, I saw that happening in the sense that we were able to see like, oh, hey, how are you doing? Or they keep coming, a little bit more, but it's also the activities that were put in place, like the icebreakers and the questions and the discussions, or tying like a video and then asking them questions about it, and then they'll tell you more. But it's part of like sisters, what they were saying, incorporating what we do already in the classrooms, or what's happening in the classrooms and in the camps and everything, into the new subjects, or I don't know, grades. Yeah.
Perfect. Anyone else who would like to do the final thoughts or the final words to encourage the teachers for this year? Because we'll put this video online and hoping that teachers who would like to be looking for some help, they would come and
yeah, I think for sure is, don't beat yourself up and feel sorry for yourself and sad that you can't do this. We have to remember that we might be the only interaction the child has. So we need to really pray and ask the Holy Spirit to help us, to give us that courage. But don't be so hard on yourself. You're going to just put your best effort, and then you learn one skill, and then you get comfortable with that, and then you learn another skill, and you add. You can't do all of this all at one time. We add slowly until you become comfortable with everything, and then it's going to change, and they're going to learn something else. But don't be so hard on yourself. Baby steps, get you a team, get someone you'll find someone on staff that can help you and plan together, and then you'll get better. Believe in yourself.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to say the final thoughts to the teachers? Any teenager who is part of life? Evelyn.
That really much like coming into like when you start, like the lesson, everything, like when you start the day, make sure to come with like a smile, and like never to come very like sad or very like tired, because what you show, what you give is what you're going to receive from the kids. And like I remember from like my experience when I went to school as elementary, my teachers were always smiling, and it makes the day much more better. And like if you see them in a very bad mood, then all the kids, even myself, I would feel in a bad mood. And then in high school as well, seeing my teacher come in, walking through the door, booming voices and loudness wakes me up, and it keeps me engaged. So depending on the energy you give to the kids, you're gonna get it back, and the day will just go smoothly as time goes by.
Okay. Thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate the fact that you took this time. Sister Sydney, I don't know if you want to have some closing ideas or thoughts.
Just don't be afraid. Don't feel like you can control everything, and try and have a little bit of fun. It is school, but we're living in weird times. So don't be afraid to have fun.
Yeah.
Thank you. From the things that I have seen right now in the conversation that we have, the things that I think that are important is, number one is plan ahead. Make sure that you have clear objectives of what you want to teach. Number two is put clear expectations. For what I'm hearing, is extremely important that everybody has their camera on so you can engage. Number three is get them involved in the transformation process of learning. That means that if you don't know how to get some type of subject out, get them to help you out, to do some type of history TikTok or things like that. And don't be too harsh on yourself. Relax, that young people are here to help you to navigate through your process. And I think the last one is just enjoy. Is that right? Did I miss anyone? No? Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you for everything. And thank you so much. Say bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.